Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the bullpen. Eric Balnar, Michael Dunn.
Hello, everyone.
What's up? How you been doing? What have you been up to last week?
Just working, trying to make a living.
You don't work.
A little bit of golf.
Do you?
Yeah.
How you hitting them?
Not very good.
We don't need to talk about that.
Not playing enough.
We can talk about baseball, all
let's get
things
on the
South
baseball.
Australian baseball on In the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Now, look, I would be in serious trouble, mainly from you, if I didn't talk about the logo that we've got now.
It's a very good logo, isn't it?
You would have saw that in the streaming part at the very beginning there.
And we'll get that up so you guys can see it down the track as well. And we're getting some shirts made up and some hats made up and different bits and pieces for In the Bullpen with its logo. So we'll give you a...
We're huge.
Yeah, we're starting to grow. It's great.
We're huge.
The community loves us.
Thanks everybody for tuning in and joining us here on In the Bullpen. Let's crack right into it. It's a blustery night down here, by the way, at West Beach, so it's going to be an interesting Super League game. I think you can tune into that a little later on.
It's a normal West Beach night, really.
It's blustery.
Yeah.
It's blustery. It's been blowing a little bit today. All right, let's roll into it. Hilltop headlines. Let's start with some of the things that you noticed around the week. Let's start with some mid-season player movements. That's going to be reshaping the competition before we get into everything. You can see it on the side of your screen. A few big ones.
Yeah, well, Riley Moore from Western Australia, that's not the Riley Moore that already plays for Goodwood. That's another American guy that's come over from
Two
WA.
Riley Moores.
Two Riley Moores.
Spelt the same.
Yeah, one's a pitcher and one's a catcher, so that's an interesting concept, isn't it, really? But we don't know a lot about him. We know he played in Germany and in some other places, and he knows Austin Gallagher, and that's how it all came about. So he can't do anything but improve Kensington chances, and he's also a Marlin, so that helps as well.
Yeah, he was in WA State League. He was in France. He played Prague Baseball Week. He knows all those guys that were over there, your Terrell Joyces, your Alex Carters, all those folks that, we're part of that program. So that's probably a big in for Kensington, who, especially when you're thinking finals time, they probably needed that pitching depth. That's probably a big one to have.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that can get an American import to be part of their pitching stocks this time of year and late coming to finals time, which Kensington are looking towards, can do nothing but boost their chances.
Wilson Lee also moving to Henley and Grange. That is a big one. Henley now, that's their fourth off-season recruit that they've got, or mid-season. It's a lot of points they're using up. I think they only had 13 available. That's 16 right there. That's going to be interesting to see how they navigate that.
Well, my question there to Henley is who misses out?
Yeah, because you can only
someone's going to miss out every week. Someone doesn't play because you can only have a certain amount of points, and they've got too many. So that's a club question to their players: is who
Maybe
doesn't
we can ask
play?
Darcy Barry.
Maybe I don't know when Darcy will know, but we can certainly ask him.
He's on
but
the
it's
show.
a massive pickup. I mean, Wilson Lee's he's a Caps medalist. He's played in the league for a long time. He's played in Europe. A massive loss to Sturt and a great pickup for Henley and Grange.
Addition to Sturt, although they had him for parts of last year, Rickson Wingrove coming over a little later on in this calendar year. You think a lefty at a porch that is, 275 deep is going to help there?
Yeah, lift and separate at Sturt, isn't it? So it's an interesting thing. I mean, Rickson was going to come and play ABL anyway, but obviously that's now not going to happen, but he's still coming. He'll boost Sturt's chances, but realistically, he's not going to be here for the finals anyway.
Yeah, if he's back with like last year when he was with the Phillies, it depends when he gets the call for spring training. Yeah. That could be an interesting...
But if it goes back to normal spring training...
But they won without him last year in the finals.
Very true.
So we'll see how that goes. Around the grounds, though, the big upset on the weekend was Kensington, who are humming along, coming off the bye week. I know they didn't have a Sean Maple in the lineup, but they still lost to Southern District, so all of a sudden have a few things bouncing their way. Yeah,
that's a big loss to Kensington because they beat some really good sides, and then they come up against Southern Districts who are... in that 6th to 8th range on the ladder and get beaten. So, again, that might bite them later on in the year.
This one was an interesting one that we kind of worked out over the weekend, the run differentials that you see over here. Yeah. What do you make of, we're 5-6 games in the season, 4 or 5 games. What do you make of teams from this perspective?
Yeah, so the first thing that stands out to me is Goodwood having 8 runs against in 5 games, which tells me their pitching depth is fairly decent. So they have, they have Garn and they have... Fitzgerald and
Challinor, who's got a 1.88 ERA.
Fidge, all those guys. So to only have 8 runs scored in 5 games, and they've played some good teams. It's not like they've played some of the bottom end teams. So same with West Torrens. That's pretty much on par. Their pitching might not be quite as strong, but still 28 plus is fantastic. Kensington, again, their pitching's good, but they've also got good hitting, but playing at Kensington, that helps as well, right? Because they've got some guys that can hit bombs. And then you just go down the ladder. Henley and Grange is the interesting one.
Yeah.
You got 22
pretty
and 26.
Even,
yeah.
But they're 3-1. They're playing close games.
They're 3-1.
That's not a good team, though. You win close games.
That's exactly right.
It's a good sign. Okay, let's take a look at some of the standings, the ladders, the leaders around the competition. We'll start with the standings. This is how things shape up. Southern Districts, that big win, that's kind of pushed them right on the fringe of that 8. That's the way things are looking right now. They've got 1-2. They've lost 2. That's a big swing of events after a slow start to the season. But the top 4, that was exactly, I think, the 4 that I predicted in the top 4.
And it's an interesting. It's already starting to wind out that you can see West Torrens, Hanley, Goodwood, Kensington, and Sturt. That top 5 probably won't. They might change positions, but they'll stay probably those top 5 most of the year. And then the difference between Port, Golden Grove, Southern Districts, East Torrens, they make up who's going to finish 6th.
Hitting leaders. Let's take a look at these. Riley Moore, the original Riley Moore. I don't know what we'd call the first Riley Moore, the one that was here first.
We'll call him Beach Boy Riley Moore.
Beach Boy Riley Moore. Notably, he's now up to 11 RBIs. Brody Areola, he's up to 13 RBIs on the season. Riley Moore now tied with 4 home runs. That's a look at your hitting leaders, your pitching leaders you'll see on the side. I think the notable one for me on the pitching leaders is when it comes to ERA is John Challenor at 46 years young is now under that 2 ERA mark, one of 3 pitchers there. Brett Hattersley had that big start for Souths, and we'll see the strikeout king, AJ, tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, AJ didn't play for us last week, but as you can see there, he's 37 punch-outs in, 20-odd innings or whatever it is. So, I mean, again, you'll see him again tonight, and you'll see how dominant he is at this level.
All right, Dunny, rapid-fire women's baseball recap. The big one there, Sturt had a major win on the weekend. They won 17-4. Glenelg ended up beating Woodville 8-1. Sturt remain undefeated. Glenelg looking informed. Glenelg had 8 different players reach base or score on the weekend.
Yeah. So, and again, as time goes on and the team gets better and better, those teams will start to separate a little bit more, and those top 3 will probably separate away from the other 2.
But Sturt looking really, really good. Georgia Davis with another win. We got her on the show next week. I'm really looking forward to watching. She's the top statistical pitcher in women's baseball, 15 years old.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Can't wait to talk to her.
Pretty cool to see. Speaking of rising stars, we got Darcy Barry coming on the show in just a couple minutes. Talk a little bit about his college baseball experience. We'll see you after this.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Hey, Dunny, does Hilltop Office Supplies do like school supplies? Maybe dudes that need to go to college sometime?
Figure out some backpacks, lunch boxes.
You need a backpack and a lunchbox, Darcy?
Oh, I probably will need one, yeah.
Yeah, some stage.
Yeah.
Who we got on? Who's here?
We got Darcy Barry joining the show. Darcy, you've been part of this like streaming generation. I feel like you've had your games on when you were with the Waves and Junior League and Senior League and now Super League. So we've watched you. All of a sudden, you're playing college baseball next year. That's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, yeah, growing up, having like the camera in your face every now and then, it's get used to it a little bit, but yeah.
So tell us about it, Darcy. Where are you going, and where are you going to college?
I'm going to a Division II junior college called North Iowa Area Community College. So obviously in Iowa. Yeah, that's it.
Isn't that the school where not Vanderlyn and Mitch Neuenborn went to? Correct.
Yeah, it is. That's how I originally got into contact with the school, was through Mitch. So yeah.
So that's what I think we're both, Dunny and I, are pretty curious about is, maybe I still have baseball ambitions. Maybe Dunny wants to go play some college baseball.
College coach, maybe.
College coach.
How do
you end up playing college baseball, let alone in the middle of northern Iowa?
Yeah, so it started with obviously Mitch Neuenborn trying to help me out. He contacted his coach from when he was there, and I spoke to him a little bit. And that sort of fell off a little bit, and then it all sort of kick-started in around April when I went to the Canberra showcase, and then started having a few more contacts there, talking to more college scouts and coaches and stuff like that. And then, North Iowa and a couple other colleges I was interested in the most, so just ended up talking to them the most, and then having some interviews, talking with my parents, talking with Andrew Adele, who helped me out a lot. And then just decide on them.
So when do you exactly leave? What colours are they? Are they colours that you're going to enjoy wearing, or we don't know much about them? So I mean, people at home are going to want to follow your journey. So, tell us about and what are you going to study? That's a big thing. You play baseball, you got to study something as well too. So what are you going to do?
So I'm not sure what I'm going to study yet, because I mean the main ambition for going there is just baseball, but obviously academic is a huge part of it. I'm going around August next year, and their colours are sort of the same as this colours, about like blue and yellow and white. I'll be fine with that colour. And
is their team their college is a successful baseball college that you know of? They're a good team. They've won some
from what
titles.
I've heard, they've won a few titles. Obviously with Mitch Newborn and Robbie Glendenny from Perth Heat. They both went there, so I mean they're pretty they're studs. So obviously they've produced pretty good, amazing players. So I hope I can live up to that.
Yeah.
So has this been on your radar for a little bit, like ambitions of going to play college baseball? And when did you know that you wanted to try to pursue baseball outside of South Australia?
Yeah, so growing up, I played baseball and soccer. That was like my main two passions. And then just eventually chose baseball as a career path that I was going to hopefully go long-term with. And I decided at 14 years old that I wanted to actually go to college and instead of signing. But obviously, I mean, if I have a number that goes above that, then I'd sign. But that hasn't come around, so junior college is always my dream.
So that's pretty cool, and I know there's a lot of work that goes into it. We actually have a video that you sent me of just kind of the effort that goes into the recruiting process. So what do college recruiters look for? This was, from what I understand, just a recruitment video that you sent through?
Yeah, so they look for everything that there is to entail about baseball, and mainly just all of your accolades and everything, all your strong suits. So here we've got me hitting from live BP off Riley Moore, and then throughout the videos be my fielding from shortstops, from my arm strength, backhand, forehand, choppers, barehand plays, everything like that.
So have you done a bit of study in regards to where the college is, how much travel you do on the bus? Because that's what they do. They spend a lot of time on buses. Yeah. So what's the range that you would travel in over a college year? Do you know how far they go and how long they go for on it? Do they do overnight trips? Do you play 6-game road trips? Do you play 2-game road trips? What have you done some investigation about all that type of stuff?
Yeah, I've looked into it quite a bit. I know that North Iowa is a good college because unlike some other colleges that I spoke to, North Iowa travels the most, so I get hopefully the most exposure, with college scouts and more professional scouts. So that's what inflicted my decision to go on there as well.
And typically their season runs for how many games would you play in a year?
I'm not quite sure how many games a year, but I know that's all year round. So,
yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
The JUCO route's an interesting one because there's a few guys, and even close to home, like Tyrone Hambley, one of them, Chris Adamson, one of them, that you can go to. Bones is actually a great example of a guy that goes to JUCO. He does really, really well there, and a D1 school comes around, picks him up, and then opportunities can flow from there. Mitch Newborn, a great example. He's a Team Australia player now that went to that JUCO route. Josh Tools, same kind of thing. Have you talked to guys? I'm sure you've talked to Bones about his college experience too.
Yeah, I talked a little bit to him about his experience, throughout this year and last year when I was thinking more getting serious about the college. I spoke to him a little bit. Spoke to Mitch. Spoke briefly to Tolsey about it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll be good.
And how many players do they recruit? A lot of players from overseas, or they only get sort of one a year? I mean, it's a pretty big accolade if they've picked you out of the whole of Australia or the whole world, if they're going to have a guy go and play college.
Yeah, there's only a handful of spots on a team, isn't there?
Yeah, you can only, and it costs them a lot of money, right? If you go over there you go on a full scholarship over there. Yeah. So I mean, that's not something they hand out every day, right?
Dude. So that's fun.
So how does that? That's a great accolade to you, and we commend you for that reward that you've been given. But
appreciate it.
So then, where do you go? Are you looking then to go JUCO, do some study, go D1, sign? Is that the path you're trying to look down?
That's exactly the plan. So the plan is to do my 2 years junior college, and then hopefully get enough exposure and play well enough to get an offer to go to a Division 1 university, get a degree, and then hopefully get drafted out of there.
Yep. Perfect.
Would you have any advice for your 14-year-old self if you said you were 14 years old when you were like, hey, I kind of want to go do the college route. Now, you mean you're a bit older? Would you be like, okay, Darcy, 14-year-old Darcy, maybe we should look at this when we're going through a better baseball business the next few years?
Yeah, I think my main advice to 14-year-olds or just younger people aspiring to go to college is to take it really seriously and to really listen to the coaches, because sometimes coaches, like, you think as a young kid that you know it all, so you don't really, or you hear a coach say something and then you go, oh, but I've heard something different from another coach. So my advice would just be take everything seriously, take everything from a coach and really apply it and do the extra hours, because that is going to help you a lot.
Yeah, that's one thing I keep hearing about you from guys like Riley Moore, the original Riley Moore, not the new Riley Moore. That'd be weird if the new Riley Moore.
HP Riley Moore.
HP Riley Moore. It's getting confusing. Not softball Riley Moore either, but original Riley Moore.
Yeah, exactly.
That you are just, you put in that extra effort and work. So that's obviously something you've really taken upon yourself.
Yeah, well, I mean, being like a baseballer from Australia, obviously in America they get more time to play baseball. Like, they play baseball for every day, all day. So there's not much opportunity here to actually get that extra work in. So as much extra work you can get in here is going to catch you up more to the Americans.
Dunny, you hear that all the time that Tank says when he's with the Giants is there's no coincidences, right? Like, there's no such thing. And it's the same you see with Curtis Mead. Like, people aren't surprised because this guy was at 6 a.m. in the cages here every day. Like, no coincidences. You know the meaning of that too.
Yeah, totally. And I think I've said it before on the show that Vijay Singh, when he was back, he was number one in his day. He had a classic saying that he used to say, "It's amazing, the harder I work, the luckier I get." So, and it's just a true statement. He worked. He was dusk till dawn every day. Became the number one golfer in the world. Again, it's not a coincidence. Go and do the work. Kids out there, go and do the work at 14, and you can be Darcy at 17.
Darcy, that's super interesting, the way that this college journey has come about. But let's just quickly get a question about the Rays here, because it seems to be a bit of a vibe in the dugout right now.
Yeah, we're all really tight-knit group. We've all grown up together. All, like from pretty much two different clubs. I mean, West Torrens and Henley Grange are pretty much the starting lineup the whole time. So, yeah, everyone's good friends with each other. So it really helps, win games when you're all good friends with each other.
Darcy, it was great to hear from you about what's going on. Good luck on the field tonight, and thanks for joining us. Carly Moore coming up on the other side of the break.
Looking for the finest in household items to complement and complete your dream look? Just the Thing Furniture Warehouse pride themselves on the best customer service, communication, and quality furniture.
We try and offer our customers is the opportunity to buy on-trend furniture at a discounted price.
Go see Super League Baseball sponsor Just the Thing Furniture for their wide range of quality furniture to find the perfect item that will complete your home and suit your budget. Mention Super League Baseball for free Metro delivery. Just the Thing Furniture, open 7 days a week.
Back inside the bullpen, we got a new guest. We've got an Adelaide Giant in the house. We've got Carly Moore joining us. Carly, thanks so much for joining in the bullpen.
No, thank you for asking me. Glad to be here.
Let's start with some breaking news. Carly, can you raise your left hand?
Yes, so I fractured my thumb over the weekend playing Div 2. I was catching and just caught a foul tip, These things happen, especially as a catcher, I feel, but, it is what it is.
Yeah, it's part of the game. I've done the same thing a lot of times as well. You'll come back bigger and stronger, so, yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
So, Carly, walk us through right here. I mean, obviously it's been a crazy COVID period. There's been no women's nationals to compete in, but then there was a showcase game with the Giants. There's talk of the ABLW. Where right now are your, goals and ambitions in terms of baseball for yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, my biggest goal is obviously the Australian team, that's what I put the work in for, is to, wear the green and gold one day. But, I would really like to get back to just competing at that high level, Getting nationals back again, having 2 years off has been pretty detrimental, I think, to development. But yeah, just keen to play some good baseball again,
And how's HP going?
Yeah, really.
That
really
helps,
good.
obviously.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. I feel like this year Riley has really extended out the program. We've been doing a 12-month thing, so. Yeah, I feel like for the first time in a long time, we're being treated like professional athletes, and they're really taking a holistic view, they're talking about sleep, nutrition, just general care of your body. So, yeah, it's been really good.
Okay, that's interesting. So what's those differences that from maybe Carly Moore 2 years ago that's in your routine now that wasn't there before?
The plyo bowls is a big one. I know a lot of people.
What's that? Break it down.
So using like weighted, underweighted, and overweighted balls to work on your arm and have arm care there. And yeah, it's just been really good for strengthening my shoulder especially. And yeah, I think a lot of us are throwing harder, and we clock how fast we're throwing pretty regularly, and I think everyone's seen an increase in numbers, which has been good.
So you say your ambitions are the Australian national team. How does one become a member of the Australian national team? I know there might be a very simple answer, play well maybe, but like how does that process work, right? There's no showcase, so how do you earn your spot on a team when there's not a lot it's hard.
Yeah, I haven't quite worked that one out yet, but I guess playing well at nationals, usually it's selected from nationals and then there'll be another tournament from there. I think a couple of years ago they had it in Bendigo, and yeah, then they have a couple of teams playing against each other to showcase, I guess, the best talent, which is, I guess, similar to what we did in April with the women's showcase.
I know that behind the scenes, everyone's trying to figure out how we can launch an ABLW. We had the first showcase game. We got a little clip of you playing in it from last year. That was pretty cool. You had that bases clear and knock to left field. Can you walk me through what this experience was like in the first version of what an ABLW could look like?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously very exciting. I loved playing, with girls who take it seriously, like they are professional athletes, they train like professional athletes, and it was really cool having that experience at a high level. And it was even better to have it here at West Beach because, I'm here 5 days a week. I love this place. So yeah, it was really special.
And then we're planning to have a Super League All-Star game as well. So I gather you'll probably be involved in that. But I guess that's probably this year the only place you really get to showcase yourself as well. Yeah. So we're looking forward to you guys coming out and playing in that. And where does that sort of then take you from that as well? Does that help the process to even see at a higher level what you've done through HP and then come out not so much in club ball but in a higher level of baseball to see how you're progressing as well with your skills?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity just to see girls from all over Adelaide, how they can play when they're pushed a little bit more. So yeah, I really enjoy the All-Star game. Unfortunately, I'll probably miss it this year due to my thumb.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I've spoken to Yang about it, and I think we're going to try and get me in a coaching role, which will be good. Yeah.
What you doing right now with the Rays?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, so I'm also lucky enough that for women's, my Div 1 coach, he has stepped aside and let me take the reins for the next few weeks, so I can feel a bit more involved, which I'm excited about. Yeah,
that's a Woodville team. I know there's a couple new players on there. There's what's up right now in women's club ball? Give us a little report. What's happening Div 1 side? Woodies went down on the weekend, I know, but
yeah. So Dana, our starting pitcher, she won the Caps medal 2 years ago, and she has an amazing arm. She's got really good control, so she throws most of the game for us. Unfortunately, I couldn't come in this week to back her up. We had one of our younger girls, Alyssa. She did a really good job, but as we all know, pitching is very difficult, and I feel like the umpire probably had a bit of a tight zone for her, but we just got to get those younger girls throwing and getting them developed as pitchers as well. So
do you play this weekend, Woodville?
Yeah, I think we've got East Torrens this weekend.
You got are people like Donna available for it?
Funnily enough, Donna's getting married this weekend, so she's going to miss the next 2 weeks. So yeah, we're really going to have to rely on those younger girls to step up and have a go. So.
And what have you seen in the last maybe 3 or 4 years in regards to having, 3 or 4 teams 4 years ago or 5 years ago to now having 20 teams in the competition? And do you see over the next couple of years some player movement as well, that got some girls that are probably standouts in Division 2 that go, hey, I don't want to play Division 2 anymore, I want to go and play Division 1, I'm going to go and change clubs. So is there that sort of talk like there is in the men's starting to come about as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think the division split was probably the best thing that could have happened for the competition. It took away those games that were kind of blowouts. And yeah, I think it has girls, like you said, in Division 2 training harder because they want to push for that Div 1 spot. And I think we're finally at a stage where, Div 1 is like something to look up to, something to build to, and so to have that opportunity, I think is really good especially for younger players or players that want to improve their skills. So.
Yeah, I think so too. And over probably the next 3 or 4 years, you'd want to probably move towards maybe 8 or 10 teams in Division 1. That would make it a whole lot more competition for you guys instead of playing the same team every 5 weeks.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Obviously, this year with the 5 teams, we have the bye every few weeks, which I guess isn't the greatest for playing time, but I think, having the 5 best teams is going to be best for our week-to-week playing. You know, it makes sure that we have quality games every week, which we have seen this year. It's been very good.
So just on to Super League, if we can talk about Super League for a minute, what's the what do you find or what are you learning being out here involved in Super League that you don't see normally in a women's game on the weekend, or the strategies and everything that goes on behind the scenes? You're just like, oh, we would never think of something like that.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky enough to be involved in the men's team as well at Woodville, so I do see a little bit of that more complex thinking, but it is really good to be around Chris Sims. I've learnt a lot from him so far. And he also at Woodville as well, so we kind of bounce stuff off of each other there.
Yep.
But I really like being around the high level, and you know the boys have been really accepting of me, like getting around me a lot, and so I just really like being involved in quality baseball. So.
This is an interesting one from a Giants perspective here. So, of our junior members, about 60% of them are girls compared to boys. So we have more girl junior members than boys. Now, since the ABLW has come around, obviously you have mums and dads and kids that you talk to and you ask their favorite players, whatever it is. You know, of course you have your Jordan McCardles, Curtis Meads, but since that women's showcase, we've now had a few people that are being like, yeah, I want to be like Carly Moore, which is kind of cool. And I know talking with, a couple of people at Woodville as well, I know that you're now Adelaide Giant Carly Moore as well. Does it feel like, do you feel like you're a bit of a role model now, or have you has that set in that people are like, oh yeah, I kind of want to be like her?
Oh, not really. I think people just underestimate the power of representation. You know, until you see someone doing something, you can't really picture it yourself. I know I feel that way about Alyssa Nacken. She coaches for San Francisco Giants, and she was the first female coach in the MLB, and to see that and know that that is now possible is something really cool.
Well, we'll leave it at that with Adelaide Giant, now role model in the community, Carly Moore. Thank you so much for joining us on In the Bullpen. We'll be back just after this.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions, where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from, whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
How good is Hilltop?
How good is Hilltop?
Go and get all your stationery. Go and get all your stationery. We are live online now. Go to our website, join up, get discounts by being part of the baseball community, and we're more than happy to help you get all of your office needs and equipment.
2 good chats today. What'd you take from those couple chats?
Well, the Darcy one's an interesting one to tell the young kids out there that don't give up on your aspirations and dreams, because Darcy's a perfect example that those sort of things can come true. So you work hard and you'll get results. Don't just think that it's going to get handed to you. Go and do your work, and people will come and want your services. So that was great. And I mean, Carly's a good example of a young lady who's been around baseball for a long time, and as a young girl, she looks and sits and goes, where do I go with baseball? Because 5 years ago there was no such thing, right, in regards to women's baseball. And now it's like, hang on a minute. We might have an Adelaide Giants team somewhere down the track, and I'm at the age where I can still play that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Right in that prime there, or entering that with that more training through the HP program and now getting that chance. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and she's getting bigger and stronger, and her body's changing in regards to being a baseball player, and that can't do anything but hold her in good stead to get noticed in showcase games and maybe get picked to play for Australia.
On the theme of pretty good South Australian baseball players, don't know if you've heard, Curtis Mead? Heard about this guy?
I think so. I played with his dad when he was still in nappies.
The Giants don't post about him much on
every 5 minutes.
Yeah, but it's because
so they should.
He's doing ridiculous stuff. This is a shot of him going oppo in Arizona Fall League play, one of 3 home runs he's knocked here. This is like the league with all the best prospects in baseball. So it's literally like a super league of prospects. They effectively divide it into 5 different teams, send their best prospects onto one team, and they compete against each other. They play against their best. Curtis Mead today got a hit in his 17th straight game, which is now the longest hit streak since 2011. It's tied for the sixth longest since 2006. And if he gets a couple more, he's potentially on pace to break a record. All the guys that set those ones before have played in the big leagues. Is that good?
Yeah, I think so. I think the big thing with
South
Curtis
Aussie.
too is that he didn't go through the draft. He didn't go through anything like that. He's surrounded now by guys that signed for multi-million dollars, not just $1 million. We're talking multi-million dollar players here, and he's holding his own against it. That's just that true Aussie gut-wrenching spirit that's like, I'll show you guys.
So he played low A, then he got promoted to high A, then triple A. He also played ABL this year, which is a good quality competition.
And had a great year.
And yeah, so this are his numbers. He had 143 games played, 21 home runs, 92 RBIs, hit 324, on base 374 with 14 stolen bases.
And if you're in the big leagues, that's probably $6-8 million a year.
More than that.
You reckon?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's huge. All right, let's that's a big recognition, big knock to Curtis Mead. Let's go through a few community milestones. We'll start with Alice Prokopek. Speaking of Adelaide Giants, we had Carly Moore. Alice Prokopek, one of those Giants as well, pitched really well on the weekend, 50 games.
Yeah, it's again another great effort for the ladies or women who don't play that many games per year. To knock up 50 fairly quickly is a good effort for sure.
Robbo from East Torrens, 600 games.
Here we
senior
go. These
games.
numbers are just crazy, aren't they?
That's a lot of hours again playing baseball.
That's living baseball.
They had a big event for him in East Torrens over the weekend. Everyone seems to love him. The social media comments were great, so good for Robbo, 600 games.
That's great.
50 junior games for Amaro Bland, well on their way at Adelaide Angels to bigger and better things, but congrats on getting to the first 50. And we'll wrap it up with a really cute moment that happened at Kensington Baseball Club over the weekend. A few generations of Gladstones have played there. We've got Scott and Jim. This is, that's our volunteer of the week. We'll get to that. We got a little cute video I think we'll have to start that again. You can see Scott Gladstone's little lad throwing the ball to his grandfather, Jim Gladstone, at Kensington on past Players Day. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, three generations of Gladstone. Obviously, we know Scotty pretty well through the Giants program as well, so we say hello to him out there. And I played against his dad. Again, this is just showing
You're
how old
old.
I am. Old, right?
You are old.
Wow.
Volunteer of the week. You saw that big smiling face. That was Gavin Holland. We got a really nice email over the week. We probably don't recognize the umpires enough. We probably should do a better job of that, but this was a nice email to get. A green shirt umpire at Adelaide Angels who was recognized for his great work during a Div 3 women's Henley and Grange versus Adelaide Angels game. Henley and Grange emailed saying he was very friendly and approachable and also clear and concise with his calls. This made it incredibly easy to understand what was happening in the game, where you were in the batting count and overall position. Although there were a few fumbles with the calls, learning curve I believe, the umpire was professional and treated the women like professionals as well. Without getting on my soapbox, too often Women's League umpires have been... Women's League have umpires that treat the game as a Little League game and subsequently sometimes give the feeling of inadequacy or incompetency for us as a team. But this did not happen with this umpire, and I'd like to thank him for volunteering his time. I would love to have him back. Gavin Holland, green shirt umpire, getting into umpiring, helping out, and getting great reviews. That's awesome to hear.
And that's exactly the point you make is they're volunteers. They're green shirt umpires learning the game. So treat them with a little bit of respect. They're learning as well, and they're not perfect, and neither is everyone else out there. So help them out and make sure. And Gavin, we salute you.
Gavin, well done. That's about wrap it up for this show. We got Georgia Davis on next week. Looking forward to hearing from her. We'll line up a couple other guests for you. But what do you got on the rest of the week, Dunny?
Well, the talk about tonight is the Rays are red hot favourites, but I reckon we're a sneaky chance tonight.
It's Mitch Neuenborn on the mound. Look forward to watching that. Send all your community submissions to that email below, and we'll see you next week in the bullpen.
Send in your bloopers. We want your bloopers.